What's up, everyone? My name's Michael Galullo. You're watching Footballer's Advice, and today I wanted to go over a little bit about my background and just describe to people some of the things that I've done to get where I am today. I know a lot of people have been asking, trying to see kind of the path that I took, understanding that everyone's path is different. Not everyone is going to be the same, but a lot of people like to see the progression and kind of say, okay, this person did this, and this. Maybe I can do some of these similar things and get to where he is now. So just wanted to kind of give you guys, like I said, a brief little history about myself, where I've been, where I'm from, and go from there. So let's get right into it. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. Didn't start playing soccer, until I was 5 years old. In terms of joining like a recreational league, like your YMCA league. So then after that, I didn't start even travel soccer. I would say serious travel soccer, where you were going all around the state, not just within the city limits. Probably when I was 12 years old, maybe. Um, yeah, serious travel soccer probably when I was maybe 12 years old. Just traveling around the state, playing different teams, playing in the Midwest Regional League. For all of you that are from the Midwest and know about that league, traveling to Pennsylvania and Michigan and Illinois, Ohio to play different teams, Kentucky. So that was, like I said, first serious travel soccer probably when I was around 12 years old. So then after that, I went into high school, played high school for 4 years. Well, I graduated high school in 3.5 years, but I played 4 seasons of high school soccer. So after the fall, that fall semester, what was that? That was in 2012. I graduated high school, left to go play in college. And the reason for that, a lot of people ask me why I did that. That was actually a way to adjust, not only academically but athletically, to a new environment. It's something I wanted to do. I thought it was a good idea, which actually helped me on the back end of things with decisions that I made in the future. But what happened was I had the opportunity to graduate early from high school, so I said, okay, I'll graduate a semester early, and that's just what I did. So from there, what happened was, I played in college. I played in college for 3 years at Indiana University, and the dream was always to play professionally, or at least try to get those opportunities to play. And at that point, I really wanted to do that. So I left college. I did get a 4 year degree, so I got a 4 year degree in 3 years actually. So I left college in December of 2015. And then from there, I was going all around in terms of your combines, open tryouts, all these things. So in January, I went down to Florida. There was a combine being held down there, where teams from Iceland were coming. So I was trying out down there, and then from the whole month of February, I left my home in Indianapolis. Going back home, living with my parents, and I was just trying out for every team that I could that had open tryouts, that had combines. So there was a combine in Atlanta. I drove from Indianapolis all the way down to Atlanta. And then from there, I went up to Harrisburg, City Islanders, tried out for them. Went down to Raleigh, North Carolina, went to Charlotte, went to Wilmington. And that took up the whole month of February. So then I had to go back home, and unfortunately, nothing came from that. No opportunities. Played well, I thought, and showcased myself well, but no opportunities. So then from there, what happened was I pretty much just, the summer came. I played MPSL, but I knew at that time, during that time when I was playing MPSL, I had to get myself over to Europe, because at that point I was 21. I was about to turn 22 in August, and I said, you know what, you're not getting younger. You might as well try it in Europe, because if I wait another until the next summer, it may be too late. I think now's the opportunity. So I actually took a tour with a company to go over from the U.S. to Sweden, and so I left in July, late July, and the tour probably lasted, I think, like 2 weeks, and nothing came from the tour either. and I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? But I was smart. Before I left for the tour, what I did is I knew I planned for it. I said, if nothing comes of this tour, I have to make sure there's a way that I could still maybe try to get something out of it by myself. So I said, okay, I booked my ticket out 3 extra weeks from when the tour ended. So I knew, okay, whenever the tour ended, I have 3 extra weeks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go knock on doors in Europe. So that's exactly what I did. The tour ended. We ended in a small town up north in Sweden, and I knew, okay, 3 weeks. My flight leaves from Stockholm, so I have to go from northern Sweden in Luleå, and I got to travel all the way down to Stockholm. So okay, that I thought that was enough time. And what happened was, I just started knocking on doors, asking anyone and everyone for a tryout. And the thing is, people were like, "Well, Michael, how did you, what do you mean by knocking on doors?" Well, that's what I literally did. I mean, I just, knock, knock. If you're, if they had an office, I was there. If they had a practice facility that I knew about, that I researched online beforehand, I was, going there and trying to find out, okay, what time do they train at, and I would just show up to training. That's just what I would literally do. I mean, there were so many coaches, sometimes I'd call them on the phone. They're, oh, don't come, we don't want you to come, whatever, no tryouts. At that point, I was like, look, I'm calling you on the phone just to let you know I'm showing up. I'm showing up either way. I'm already in the city or the town, whatever I'm in. I'm showing up. And eventually what happened was there was a team that said, no, we don't want you to come out. We don't want you to train. I just kind of started begging them. I was like, man, come on, like, please let me train. I'm 5 minutes away. And eventually they were like, all right, you can come train. And this was a team that was in the fight for promotion from tier 4 to tier 3. And I practiced with the team, and I impressed the coach so much that he actually recommended me to someone else who could help me. At that point with their team, they already had like a 22-man roster. They were in, first place for promotion. And, the coach kind of said, right now we can't take you, but I want to reference you to this person because, I think you're a good player. I really like you. And I impressed him, which was awesome. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted, was just an opportunity, So eventually what happened was, I got in contact with the person he told me to reach out to, and he even was able to reference me to a couple teams. And I was still knocking on doors, but eventually I got down to that team, and they took me in. And so then what happened was I played the rest of the season with them, came back to the U.S., and then flew back to Sweden in January and wanted the opportunity to trial. So again, for some teams that were higher, because during that time frame I was told, hey, you should look to go play at a higher level because you're good enough to do that. So so that's kind of what I did, and that's where I'm at now. So I'm kind of I am with the team, and now I'm just trying to make it happen. So that's kind of my story, guys. A lot of questions people ask me too is, how did you get the money? Where did you save? And that, and what I told people there too is, when I graduated from college, I was able to get a job. I worked, and I was just saving up money. Even when I was in high school, I wasn't buying crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't buying the newest shoes, the newest clothing, whatever. I was just saving money because I knew eventually, like, I would need the money for something like this. And like I said, I was working, even during that time frame too. I was working in January, February, March. I mean, I was working all through that point until I left for Europe. But even during those times, I'd work and then I'd drive up to Chicago in January, February, March time frame, when I wasn't gone all of February to trial for the teams, because there wasn't anyone to train with back home in Indianapolis, because it's not that big. I mean, compared to Chicago, it's not that big of a city. So, and there's more people in Chicago. So, I would even go up there and I'd have to leave and train and up there for a couple weeks. And I was sleeping 8 dudes to a 2-bedroom apartment up in Chicago at one point, sleeping with a buddy of mine in his fraternity house in Chicago, a little apartment. So, or a little house in Chicago. So yeah, that's kind of what I did and what I was doing, just to try to get an opportunity. I mean, all of this is just for an opportunity to play and just see, what could happen. So that's where I'm at. Sorry for the long video, guys. I guess it wasn't as brief as I was hoping it was going to be. But I wanted to give you guys a lot of information on that point and kind of where I'm at, where I'm from, things that I've gone through. Again, it was still very brief. There's a lot of things that I want to go into, I want to talk about, but I just wanted to make another video for you guys to just get a little bit more information about myself and kind of go from there. So that's me, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. Like I said, there's definitely going to be more to come, and we'll just go from there. Thanks, guys. See you next time.